And now, a word about piracy. Hi there, my name is Fezzicus. You can call me Fez. And I am here to mention that piracy is illegal. Although I may condone it on a personal level, depending on what you're pirating and whoever made what you're pirating, I do not condone piracy in the slightest in this case. I believe that you should support your favorite artists on places like Bandcamp or their own website where you can buy their albums, merch, and or just straight donate money to them. Anyways, have a good day. And now on to the funny video.
Goddamn the circumstance.
Way back in the far years of the 19th century, music piracy was just considered people buying sheet music, copying it, and then reselling it at a lower price, which was later made illegal in 1906, where if you were caught selling a copy of fucking Symphony number 41 at a lower price, you'd make in return having your shop raided by the fucking police. With the invention of vinyl, there's the act of bootlegging, where some guys in Colombia took some live show with Mayhem and then pressed it onto a vinyl. Technically, it's not music piracy, kinda, I think. I don't know. It infringes on copyright law like piracy, but I don't know if it is, although I thought it was important to mention bootlegs in the history of music piracy. An extension to this was the music industry trying to kill off home taping, where you'd sit there listening to the radio and tape the songs, making a mixtape, right? Yeah, the good old major labels decided, yeah, let's make this shit illegal so more people can buy the albums rather than taping the music to get it at a cheaper price. It didn't go well. Not only was it only sort of illegal, really it depends on how you got the music in the first place, meaning from one tape of your own to another, or off the radio I think was also completely legal, but also bands like the Dead Kennedys would purposefully leave sides blank so you could tape onto them. Piracy would stay like this for a long while, alongside software piracy where you could just buy tapes or discs at a fucking convention or some shit. However, this would change twofold with the invention of
The internet and the MP3.
Music piracy would have definitely been possible back in like 95, but our hard drives were so small and the only audio formats we had back then were really too big to be any use. But then the MP3 came, where people realized we can rip entire albums and put them on the internet, and it only takes an hour to download, and also only takes up 50% of our disk space, which happened with the invention of peer-to-peer programs like Napster, which let users, rather than upload files to a central server and then people can download from that server, they just fucking took away the server so people could straight up share the fucking files from one another. This may have opened up really huge security holes, but it doesn't really matter yet. Napster was pretty revolutionary with the way it let people send files from one another, but it was also pretty revolutionary for pissing off every single musician and label off to the point where fucking Dr. Dre and Metallica would be talking shit about Napster, whereas they just straight up fucking sued them to their death. Yeah, Napster shut down after only being up for 4 years. The damage was done, however. It was so bad to where the MP3 player was almost fucking illegal, as well as people took the whole peer-to-peer service thing to create programs like Kazaa, LimeWire, Soulseek, and motherfucking BitTorrent, where programs like Kazaa were more so geared towards audio files like Napster. People just decided to let people send whatever the fuck with LimeWire and whatever torrent websites existed at the time, which included a fuckload of porn, viruses, and porn that's really fucking illegal. Torrenting was a little bit different from programs like Napster and LimeWire, where you needed to download a small file that essentially lets you download a file, or files, in chunks from multiple people, which allows a download to be sometimes faster, more stable, and allows you to download things at a larger size without being a massive pain in the fucking ass. As well, it's always going to be pissing off your ISP. The only caveat with this whole needing people to constantly upload files or seed is that if a torrent file has no more seeders, it's gonzo, dead, broken. Torrenting music used to be a really big thing. I think I was never there. Then again, I was never there for Napster or LimeWire. I'm fairly certain it was a good way to pirate music. Let's go back in the timeline a little bit, however, to talk about CD burners. Way back in bumfuck 90s, nobody really cared about burning CDs, as the burner drives cost about as much as gender reassignment surgery. But then the cost started coming down in the mid to late 90s, and people would just download music off the internet or rip songs from their own CDs and burn the songs onto a CDR and making a rich man's mixtape. However, in this modern age of Spotify, Tidal, YouTube Music, whatever the fuck, you can essentially get a large-ish library of music for the cost of essentially one CD album per month, and there isn't really much need to pirate music anymore. It's just cheaper to pay for Spotify or use YouTube Music. However, sometimes it's just not possible. Some albums are actually impossible to find on any streaming platform or even YouTube. And although music piracy is kinda, sorta, not really dead, and it's not as active as it was back in 2001, there's a couple of ways you can pirate music these days. There's this old Slav bot on Discord, or was, I don't think it's running anymore, but basically Games Drive had a Discord server with a bot that will let you rip from platforms like Tidal, Spotify, and the such. But it was only for those, so you're not gonna get that really underground shit. There's also the good old blog post websites where you can find really sketchy media file links to the Hannah Tarash LP. But sometimes blog post websites aren't the best option, as for one, MP3s sound like fucking piss, but also the download links are eradicated for some albums. So you've got one last option. Soulseek. Soulseek has been a thing for almost forever now, and it's basically the modern day version of LimeWire, where it's just a peer-to-peer file sharing service like I've mentioned, but here, you can not only find MP3s, but also FLACs, waves, whatever the fuck an M4A is. If you can imagine it, it's probably there. Also, Soulseek has a rather large collection of ROMs, movies, and the such. Just stay away from the chat rooms, just don't ever interact with them. Fuck with the reggae man all you want, though. So on the off topic, last video I forgot to mention a few underground albums or bands that some people have mentioned in the comments, including the entire Undead discography being missing. Most of the Ramones catalog was missing for eons. Septic Death is also missing. Jugular by Judas Priest was also missing for ages. Somehow I didn't mention Negro Observer by the Butthole Surfers. The song San Francisco Treat by Nuclear Rabbit is also missing. GNV FLA by Less Than Jake is also missing. I think? I don't know. I think it's regional. I also forgot to mention that one Subhumans album on SST. Thanks SST, you dumb fucks. Only one album from Iron Monkey is available, and Corrupted is nowhere to be seen on Spotify.